If you want to go that way, start going there, be proud of it. You get on with that role. And people won't speak to you because they're not game enough, remember? They'll be silent. So get on it. Vision and energy, or truth and energy, is particularly attractive. Whenever you see it, you'll attract followers. All right, I'm going to try and share with you this concept. It's one of the most helpful concepts I've ever come across about the stick man, or the stick person. It was a stick man back then. And in fact, some of the things I share with you are still, the quotes I give, and I apologise in advance, are sexist in orientation. They were written in that era, so I get it and I apologise, but I want to read some of the things from the way they actually are. We okay with that? Okay. The stick man was a stick man, now it's a stick person, so catch me if I'm out. This one concept underpins all the coaching I do. And I promise if you get it, the potential for exponential growth in your life, in any aspect of your life, is extraordinary. It would be as extraordinary as if the fly worked out that it could just stop what it was doing and go out the door. So you don't have to try hard, you've got to try different. And the stick person helps with this. I first encountered it in 2003 with my mentor, my coach, Bob Proctor, from the Proctor Gallagher Institute. He's based in Canada. I'm going to spend a week with him in March, such as I just learned from the guy. But I spent 3 days in Sydney and I saw this concept. And I'm going to tell you straight away, the world made more sense. Immediately I understood myself better, but importantly I understood other people better. I could see why they behaved the way they behaved. The coach helped me in every aspect of life. At its core, it'll help you understand why you behave and feel the way you do when you try and do something, when you're moving upwards and change. Even if it's change you want and you know is good for you, you still encounter this thing. It'll also help you understand why in the past you might have missed something that you had a crack at. So, put simply, we encounter a terror barrier. A terror barrier. Any time you try to skip a couple of rungs on the success ladder, any time you try and make a serious change in your life, if you want to stop a habit, stop smoking, cut back in your drinking, get fit, whatever it might be, you immediately run up against a terror barrier. It arrives automatically and it arrives immediately and it causes drama for you. Probably a good example would be someone skydiving. Does anyone do skydiving? You know what I'm talking about. When you get to the door of the plane and you're up at 10,000 feet or cloud base and the door opens, am I right? Up it comes. You think, shit. All of your bones, all of your sensibilities say, this is a good plane, you should stay in here, I think. It can probably land, the pilot looks competent. Why are we jumping out? So the terror barrier arrives. But the difference with this is you've already thought about this. You already expect the feeling that goes on. Your body goes into a stupid vibration. It's fear and anxiety arrives, and then you push through it and you jump out. Well, most people do. They jump out. Anyone go and not jump? So most people can get to that point and they go, oh, they've got a tandem. It's even easier than someone jumps out. But anyway, it's a good coaching. There's a good coach metaphor. But out you go, right? And you know, you go through because you know that you've already rationalised it and you're ready for it, steeled up to go through the terror barrier to freedom. Let's call that freedom. It's on the other side, yeah? Ray, did you get that thing to go for?
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Now, when it happens, you've got a choice. You can either step back into safety, as Abraham Maslow says, you can step back into safety or you can step forward into growth. But either way, you'll get a result, you know, and that happens for year on year. People approach the terror barrier, go back, and they don't actually grow. It was Dr. Thurman Fleet, and I'm telling you, back in 1934, who first came up with this idea of a stick man, now stick person, because he wanted to create an image for people of the mind. You see, we think in pictures, and yet no one had an image of the mind. No, you're fascinated with stuff. So, if I ask you to think about your car, can you think about your car? What colour is it? What about your car?
White.
What about the inside of your car?
Black.
What about, could you think about your front door? What colour is your front door? Has it got a window in it? No. Who's going to think about their fridge? Who's got a two-door fridge?
Yep.
Four-door fridge? Whose door opens left to right? What I can see eyes going up, what you're doing is you're getting the pictures. So you're thinking pictures. You're going back to you're back to your kitchen already, or in your garage, or wherever your car's parked. You just go there. I'm a bit colourblind, so ask me what colour my car is, I'm not sure. It's colour. Anyway, you think in pictures, but no one had a picture of the mind. What comes up for you when I say think of your mind? Has it a guess, anyone?
Squishy, spongy thing.
Squishy, spongy thing, the brain. The brain comes up mostly, you know, the picture of the brain. But your brain's no more your mind than your hand is. Your mind's way more than your brain. Your brain's a part of your mind. You make up your mind. And this is what Dr. Thurman Fleet found. He was treating people with mind problems. They couldn't change stuff because there was no image for them. So we still give drugs in a way that's crazy. But here's what goes on. He said we needed the image. So the stick person came like this. Forgive my drawing, it's not the best in the whole world. It's not my hair either. And this is the image he came up with. It's simplified. The guy was a qualified doctor. He knew what he was talking about, but he just wanted a simple image. So here's what happened. This is the body. And the body's part of the mind. And this is the mind, really. A bit like the head, but it's, you know, it is still all in one. Up here, we have the conscious mind. C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S. And I put TK here for technical know-how. The conscious mind is where you reason, where you think. Yeah? Put in there NAPLAN, put in there Year 12, put in there whatever discipline you've studied at university, put in all the books you've got. In your brain, in your mind, your conscious mind is where you think. You're connected to the world by these senses called sight, sound, taste, touch, feel. Yeah, that brings your information into your conscious mind. In there you can accept and reject ideas at will. True? You can think the most crazy thoughts. And I know people do. I've talked to them privately. I've analysed my own thoughts. Sometimes you have these ridiculous thoughts. You wouldn't tell anybody else. But you can accept and entertain any old thought and you let it go again. True? Come on. You have. Yeah, I know you have. Yes. Here we have the subconscious mind. And this is where your emotions are. Your emotional and feeling mind. And I call this IC, for internal communication. That's where you talk to yourself. This is your paradigms place. This is where your conditioning is, where your philosophy is, where the way you frame up the world. It's the stuff that causes you to move automatically. It's the real you. You know, it's all the weird stuff that you can't explain sometimes. Now here's what happens. And if you get this, your life can change completely. You'll need to think about it a bit, but it's incredibly simple. I don't let it get complicated. It's incredibly simple. Your subconscious mind is what drives your body into motion, into the world. So if I call this the universe and everything in it, you take yourself out. I'm out now, I'm presenting now, yeah? You can see me doing this? Do I appear confident? Shy? What is it? You can see, I'm acting into the world right now. I'm taking my body, or this equipment that I've got, out into the world. My subconscious mind is helping me drive it. I'm using my conscious mind to try and think of the things I need to tell you. The world reacts to me, that's you, reacts to me, and we get a result. It's the action and the reaction that gives a result every time, no matter what it is that you're doing. But understand this, your subconscious mind is what causes you to do what you do, and to do it differently to anybody else. And the minute you work that out, you'll realise that's where the inputs need to happen. That's where the outcomes come from, not from here. And yet I see people working on that technical know-how all the time. I'll learn another thing. Another thing won't change anything. Down here's where you've got to learn. I know people that have got qualifications that are off the scale and they're not living a good life or a happy life and they're not successful, but they're qualified. But down here, they're still babies. They still haven't grown up. They still haven't worked out how to drive themselves in their unconscious mind, in their emotional mind. Does that make sense? I know someone else, I could bring 2 or 3 people, they're friends of mine who run large corporations. They're millionaires. I would love to have a fraction of their wealth. They fell out of school. They aren't that qualified. But by gee, they've got this stuff sorted. And what they push out here is attractive. The world reacts and they've got these massive businesses and they're making lots of money and they're helping people out. Some of them contribute and they're paying my charities, we'll meet some of them and they help us out. But what they do is they buy this stuff. They buy an accountant. They buy a lawyer. They buy the technical skills. They don't need it. They buy it. They outsource it. This is where you've got to work from. When you move out into the world, doing anything from exercise to understanding why you behave the way you behave, you think it's happening here. Easy.
What does IC stand for?
IC, internal communication. If you want to go down here, your body, It's not really a body, it's your whole being goes out. I call that EC, external communication. As you communicate externally, you go out towards the thing called the universe, it reacts to you and your results come from that. Too many bosses spend time looking at the balance sheet. They look at the report card with your kids. Don't do that. That's already history. It's gone. It's finished. That happened yesterday. It's got nothing to do with what you might achieve tomorrow. You understand me? I mean, you do have to analyse your results. Let's be clear about that. But I'm going to tell you, the balance sheet and the kids' report card will not change what they're capable of doing or what they might do next if we sort this bit out. The year 3 thing that I used to watch with the self-fulfilling prophecy of a kid in year 3 who gets a C grade report, mum and dad see it, C grade, teacher sees it, C grade, kid sees it, C grade, conditioning, C grade, next test, guess what? C grade. C grade. Yeah. C grade. It's terrible. That's what goes on. So, technical know-how, conscious mind, connected to the world. Subconscious mind, your internal comms, how you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself, what you believe about yourself, manifest in your external communication, it goes out into the world reacts to it, the action-reaction causes your result. The only place that's worth spending time on is here, if you want to change the result. And the minute you do that, it's like leaving the glass and flying out the door. It can happen in a millisecond for anybody. It can happen today for anybody. What could this be then? Just as a quick little test. Think of where I started today. Speaking to the people in Sydney at the UTS. In the cot. It's a baby. Baby doesn't have a conscious mind. Baby's completely open. They only have a subconscious mind. Now catch this. The subconscious mind can reject nothing. What you put in your subconscious mind is accepted as if it's real always. Whatever you put in there. Now that sounds a bit crazy, but it's true. You cannot reject anything. Your conscious mind can. Your subconscious mind will accept it. Athletes know this and they rehearse stuff until it's real in their mind. They race, whatever it is they're going to do. They're absolutely rehearsing. The baby's completely open. I can prove it. If I take this baby born here in Caboolture and I take it to Japan or Syria or somewhere else, I'm telling you it'll grow up with those values. You with me? Mm-hmm. And someone from here could watch a kid who goes to a Middle Eastern place and become a suicide bomber and think, how could you ever externally communicate that way? Because the culture built up in me was such that I believed this and I took my body out, that's the result I got. Similarly, a kid from that country could come here and some Christian thing could happen and from the homeland they'd say, how could you ever do that? Well, because in this new environment, subculture, the subconscious develops, paradigms develop. And you must understand that what went into your head from the beginning was from well-meaning people called mum and dad, aunts and uncles, schools, churches, community. From here now we get the bloody media. That's what wrecks my kids and my schools. That's why my kids feel so hopeless. The economy's stuffed. Everyone's on about the environment, and it's wrong. And the senses are forming and informing the subconscious, and the subconscious is what's driving what I do and how I feel and how I present. I get a response to that, and my results are my results. Dave, I spoke about earlier, same thing. He went out, people reacted. You got no sales. He's never going to get sales. He just lost it.
So you grow from that.
Hitting out the window. Okay, so it's important to understand where this our X comes from. If I go here and say, look, this is really critical now. This is how change happens. This is the most exciting thing you're ever going to get. Does this make some sort of sense? It's usually a long session. I'm trying to get it through in the Reader's Digest version. If this is you, and you have X-type thoughts going on, and you have an X-type conditioning in your world, and you've got an X-type vibration, that's just your normal status quo, how you're going, then you're going to get X-type results. Does that seem reasonable? Reasonable? Yeah. Of course it is. Okay, well that's what happens. Well, where does the status quo come from? Where does your X come from? Because everyone's got their own X-type results right now. But here's what happens. A guy called Dr. Maxwell Malt, 1960, wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Anyone seen that book? Worth a read. He was a cosmetic surgeon in the US, and he was fixing people with disfiguration. And he became aware of, and he actually made the claim, he actually said that self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. Self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. His whole premise, his whole theory, or what he called it, his PhD, was around when people got fixed, Some of them still didn't perform because their self-image hadn't changed. But some people had the disfiguration fixed cosmetically and their results changed completely because then they felt okay. They went out and they achieved. Now, I won't spend too long on that. Go and read if you can, but probably just behind it is the other theory of cybernetics. Has anyone heard of cybernetics? Let me tell you what it is. It's basically how machines control stuff. So in this room, the air conditioners would be controlled by cybernetics. And it's very simple. If you set the temperature at 23 degrees, then the thermostat kicks in and kicks out. But the machine, the cybernetics is the function that makes it turn on and turn off. So when the temperature is 22 degrees, the machine or the sensor will work it out. It'll click this thing on, temperature rises, it'll go through 23 degrees, probably to 24 or 25. Won't stop at 23, then I'll turn off. Then it'll go down, it'll go through 23. Can you believe this? It'll go down from 22, 21, and comes back on again. So it oscillates up and down, above the line, below the line, the whole time. It's rarely at 23 degrees. But cybernetics is what keeps it in that zone. This is a real critical point. The plane that you go on to Sydney, when you fly down to Sydney, is mostly off course. It's mostly off course. But cybernetics is the machinery that controls it. So the ailerons, the flaps, keep adjusting according to the guidance system. So it's doing all this stuff. It's mostly off course, but it gets to Sydney by correction. All the time by little corrections. Is it making sense? Well, there's a reason here. The reason I'm telling you this, because in our life, and Maxwell Malt stuff gave rise to this, psycho-cybernetics is the thermostat that you give yourself. It's called subconscious. It's all this stuff. What you believe about yourself is where you perform. If you think you're 23 degrees, rest assured you're 23 until you turn up the dial at 26. And you can do that this way, and by avoiding some of this. A great example is people who win the lottery who are poor ass buggers, who have no subconscious belief that they're wealthy. What happens to them? Money's gone. They sabotage. They give it away, they fritter it away, they spend it. The research is clear. After 5 years, people who are poor to begin with are worse off financially than before they won their money. Have you read that?
Yeah.
Why is that? And now you know. Cybernetics. Psycho-cybernetics. It's actually their subconscious mind. They believe that this is where they belong, as surely as the thermostat says go to 23 degrees. As surely as the plane isn't going to Cairns, it's going to Sydney. Keeps correcting there, but that's what happens. And so they get there. Conversely, someone who's a squillionaire, now there's heaps of these stories too, Alan Bond is one that comes to mind for me, who have got lots and lots of money and they go bankrupt. What happens to them? They quickly get it back again. Why? Because they believe they're millionaires. Up they go, they accumulate it. And if you've lost a job, or if you've been done, or whatever's happened to you, rest assured you get back to your comfort place pretty quickly. It just happens. So don't be surprised about this. This is where this goes on. So your X-type conditioning is a function of psycho-cybernetics. It's where you believe you should be, and this is why it becomes frustrating, why people say, I'm not happy with my results. I'm stuck. I want to get out of my results. I keep getting this result, and I know I'm due for better. Yeah? So here's what happens. In order to change your subconscious and fly away from the window, you need to introduce a Y-type idea into your X-type head. And there it is there. It's in the thinking mind, the Y-type idea that you've created. I don't know what it is for you. Provided it only goes into your conscious mind, nothing will happen. Nothing changes at all. You can fantasize about whatever you want, you think about this, you can muse over it. If you don't turn it over to your subconscious mind, nothing changes. Nothing happens at all. You just take it in, take it out. So I'd call this bondage here. You know, you're stuck. I'd call this reason. You're starting to think about other possibilities. And then up here, and this is the action spot, I'm going to call this, I've got a name for it, conflict. So here you get the Y-type idea coexisting with your X-type thinking. You actually put it into your subconscious mind. So you've got Y-type thinking and X-type thinking in your subconscious, in here, in your conditioning. And I'm going to tell you, all hell breaks loose. It's like being at the door of the aircraft. Everything goes crazy. You start to vibrate mad. This is what happens. The Y-type idea goes in here. If at that point in time you don't know how to do what you're going to do, or you're not sure about how to do what you're going to do, this registers as worry and doubt. Right? On the conscious mind. Because you live on three planes. You've got a conscious mind, you've got a spiritual being, and you're also a physical being, a physical plane. But on the conscious mind, worry and doubt comes in. It registers here in your subconscious mind as fear. People say they're shooting themselves. They really are. They're scared. The world goes crazy. I don't feel comfortable, not sure. And this actually manifests in here in the EC and on the body level as anxiety. Can you understand that could occur? The door of the plane's a good example. I'm there, I feel the stuff worrying down, and there's a little bit of fear, and there's the anxiety. And when people get to this point, they're facing the terror barrier. Freedom's over here. Most people do this. At this point in time, well, guess what they do? Exactly. Abraham Maslow said you either step forward in confidence or you go back to safety. People do this. They hit the wall and they bounce straight back to here. Back to the X-type conditioning. They can rationalise it. I don't really want to do it anyway. I'm going to have it anyway. It's just scary anyway. I don't want to be the boss anyway. You think, the problem is belief up here. So that's what happens. But in order to get to freedom, it's about, the aircraft's still a good example. If you have knowledge from learning in your brain, in your conscious mind, that can then bring a sense of faith here. Just like you are with the guy on the 10 on the back, I feel, yeah, I'm here. It won't take away the fear, it won't take away the mad vibration, but it will give you confidence. You'll feel faith about what's going to go on. You'll register here as freedom. You'll be okay. You know, anxiety goes to the next level, it can become depression and dis-ease. Whereas the freedom and the feeling of I'm okay can become at ease. And it's where people from here go through this terror barrier and arrive at the other side quite quickly. Leave the window, fly out the door. But you have to have a sense of it. I'm going to tell you, on your 9th and 10th parachute jump, you don't have the same anxiety. You still have to understand the fear, you still know the feelings, but it becomes more, what do you call it, normal for you. People who are on a growth journey